I wanted to take a little time here on FirstCoast.tv to acknowledge the loss of someone who was tremendous in this community, sort of a little powerhouse, and that's Anne Kraft. She passed away on May 20th. She struggled with a battle with cancer at the end that she did not win. But I remember having a conversation with her. And you know, we talked about a lot of things. This was probably a month or so before she passed away. And Anne was always working on projects and more projects. And I remember an interview I did with her where, of course, she was talking of a project. Look at this.
Well, the title of the project is Love, Loss, and What I Wore. And it kind of tells it all in the fact that what I wore are articles of clothing or accessories.
Yes, project, another project. And of course she was danced, she was doing it all, man, all. And I remember I went to it was a dance competition. I wanted to cover it for FirstCoast.tv. And of course she was there. I was surprised. Oh, wow. And my camera just couldn't resist taking pictures of her while she was going through her moves. And you can see in these pictures how beautiful and elegant this lady was. Let the camera show the pictures. Of course, shortly after winning that competition, I had her on my show. It was the first season of the St. Augustine Tonight Show, which is now going on its 5th season, God willing, in January. And I just had to have her on the show. And she was great. The conversation was, you know, typical Anne. And just, I hope in this 12-minute whatever conversation on the show, you get to know a little bit about her if you didn't know much about her. So let the camera roll.
St. Augustine tonight with our guest, Anne Kraft.
Back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back with an amazing person, Anne Kraft.
Thank you, thank you.
So nice to have you.
Thank you, I'm so pleased to be here. Thank you for asking me.
Yes, yes. You know, I see you around town so active in theater ever since I've been here in St. Augustine. And you have quite a history with theater. But tell us, where are you from originally?
I'm from here, St. Augustine.
You were born here?
I was born here, raised here, and I left at the age of 19.
And headed to?
New York City.
Oh, wow, a country mouse.
Yeah, oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
Very much so. I was terrified.
I mean, from this to a city with subways and buses and the heck, oh, my Lord.
Yeah, it took me a year to be able to get on a subway.
A year?
A year.
So you were taking buses or walking?
Yes.
Oh, wow. And what took you to New York?
Well, actually, an elderly friend of my mother's, who was then deceased, took me there to introduce me to impresarios. I was a singer then. And she had been a singer in New York, and she wanted to introduce me to some. And I went and I sang for them, and I did not knock their socks off. But so they sent me away with saying, keep smiling. So she, and after those auditions, she came back to St. Augustine, and I didn't. I stayed.
Oh, wow. You said, I'm not going back, not yet.
Yeah.
You thought you were going to stay another year or something like that? And
Who
then a year
knew?
turned into 2, 3, 4?
I don't seem to live with a plan. I just go with the flow.
How long did you stay?
30 years.
Oh. 30 years
Yeah.
later, you decided to leave New York. And what did you do in New York in those 30 years?
Oh, I got married. I had a daughter. I was in shows. My husband was an actor. I thought we'd be the next London Fontaine. We weren't. But ultimately, my daughter got into theater also at the age of 7. So she and her father, of course, was an actor, director, and we just muddled through. And I did a lot of off Broadway things. That was my training ground. I loved it. I just
coming from New York, the best stuff I've seen was always off Broadway,
yes,
and then it ends up on Broadway.
well, off Broadway. That's where you see the heart, the soul of it. It's not about the money there. It's about the soul.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, they take it seriously.
Yeah.
But New York is such a competitive, cutthroat place. I mean, you'll see an audition, there'll be 1,000 people for an audition. And it's yeah, I don't know. I used to, my way of releasing anger, because there were so little parts for Hispanics, was I'd go for auditioning for Brigadoon or something very Irish, you know, and I'd be there. The people in the line would keep looking at me. Does he realize he doesn't look like an O'Leary, you know?
That's so funny, and that is so good, because when I went to New York, my maiden name is Doyle. So I was very Irish, and I thought that was too ethnic. So I searched around for all kinds of stage names. I went through a million of them.
But New York City's theater has evolved. You know, now there are theaters that do wonderful African American playwrights. You got the Puerto Rican Traveling Theater. You have so much theater in New York.
The creativity is vibrant and alive. And
So when you came back, the theater bug was still in you then.
yes, it never left. But I came back via Hollywood, California.
Oh.
I had a short stint there.
Okay.
And I ended up coming back here because I fell in love with a man that was moving here, ironically. And so then I met Jean Rayner.
Okay.
And she gave me a call one day and said, hey, the Monson needs something to happen there on their stage. Want to give it a try? I said, sure, why not?
And so you guys started eventually what we know as the Limelight
That's
Theater.
right, yeah.
That is such an institution now.
It is, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, God, we're all institutions now.
But how long did you, I mean, was that easy to start? Was
It seemed easy. I mean, we just took it step at a time. We didn't have 2 cents to our names, and people just volunteered, putting things together, and of course the stage was there. We had a deal with the owner of the Monson you couldn't refuse. I mean, he wanted something there.
Right.
So we paid no rent. We
yeah.
only paid him a percentage of each ticket sold. So if no one came, we didn't pay him anything.
Oh.
How could you turn that down?
Right,
And,
exactly.
so as an investment, our time was that we opened, and people came.
And it was that physical building it's in now, or was it somewhere else?
No, now it was on the Bayfront,
Okay.
the Monson Bayfront Resort, which
all
is
right.
now some big hotel.
The Hilton, is it?
The Hilton, yes.
I think it's the Hilton, yes.
We go to lunch occasionally once a year there and say, we were here before you were. So much fun.
And then eventually you found the building where it's at now on Mission.
Ultimately, yes,
Yes,
because
yes.
after we left the Monson because the owner had a little lounge off to the side, and then he moved them into the lobby in front of where the theater was, and the trombones were playing. It was a jazz group, and we couldn't. We pinned slabs of foam against the walls
try to keep the sound
it
out.
didn't work. So we had to leave, and we were homeless for 18 months or so.
Wow. Wow.
And then ultimately we did a show that enabled us to get some money in the coffers, and we then rented the building behind KK's Tires on US 1.
Oh.
Kitty corner to then where Kmart was.
Yes.
So then we were there for about 6 years, and then through another wonderful woman, Luba Estes, whose family, the Jakowski family, she enabled us to apply for a grant through her family. We bought the building on US 1. I mean on Old Mission.
Old Mission.
Yeah.
Wow, wow. And did to me, it seems that something like that consumes you totally.
Oh, yes.
I mean,
I even slept in the theater on occasion when a grant was due, and I was writing the grants, and it was deadline time, and I'd be the only one there. Just
Yes.
take a little nap on the couch and up back again at the
wow, because
computer.
when it's something's that small, you have to do everything.
That's right. What an
you
adventure,
do electrical
though.
work, you do carpentry work, you do the books.
I
you do-
changed a lot of light bulbs, so every time I walk into a building, I still have the habit of looking up and saying, "Oh, that one's out."
Yeah, get me a ladder. I'll take care of it. No,
No,
but
that's funny.
wow. So when what kind of theater were you doing once you started there and you figured you had a permanent base?
We did all kinds of theater. Non-musicals, though, mostly, because
Okay.
they were too expensive. Small casts and comedies and dramas. And we did things that had something to say. And we were so lucky in those days. We did a lot of shows that we didn't even know what they were about, but once they came alive, there it was. There was a message. It was very exciting. It was wonderful.
Yes,
It was
yes.
just so exciting. Plus, the
Yes.
people who came to be the actors, we always paid them. It was
Right.
very little, but we
Yes.
paid them something because
yeah.
we felt, they deserved to be acknowledged in
Yes.
that way.
Yes. No,
And,
and no, I know what you're saying. Sometimes you'll read a play, and you'll have the reading, and it takes another shape.
Oh.
Then you actually bring it where voice and body and motion and the
Yeah.
words, and it's just another flower. It's totally
Well,
different.
I learned something about myself that I don't always see what's on the written page. And one particular show was Laughter on the 23rd Floor. Well, I read it. I went, oh, no, we can't do this. It's nothing but F this, F that. It was all the way through. Every other word was F this. I went, no, we can't do that. And it was a comedy. This is not funny. Excuse me. But when the actors, I was overruled, thank goodness, because the actors came, and when they read it and did it, oh my God, it was hysterical. It was just so
That's
wonderful.
what I mean.
So I learned I can't trust myself on certain things.
Yes, you have to bring it as close to what it would look like on a stage before you determine whether it's worth putting all the work, because there's tons of work.
Well, you have to trust the people you're working with
True,
and
yes.
give in to their judgment sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now what groups are you involved in now in theater?
I retired from the limelight 10 years ago. My God, already. I'm with the Classic Theater now.
Yes, I've
Gene
seen some
Rayner,
of your work, and it's been
the founder
wonderful.
of that. So we are together again in that sense. And we do just a few shows a year.
Right.
So that's my theater thing. But I've become a independent actor, director around the area.
Okay.
This last year I've done a show in Palm Coast, 2 shows actually, directed one in Flagler County, my first big musical directing. Thank goodness, had a lot of help. It was exciting. And I've taken up ballroom dancing, so...
Yeah, I saw you in Dancing Stars or something, and
last
you
year.
won that.
I did.
I must say, with a tango.
Yes.
Yes, that's the way to go. That's the way to go. Yes, I saw that, and I said, "Oh my Lord, look at her! You were great, spectacular."
Thank you.
And credit to all the other people. That's very hard for you to volunteer and a person say, "Well, I want to dance," but that was very, very interesting. So what? And you also in Palm Coast sometimes, aren't you?
Yes.
On Flagler County,
Yeah,
our neighbor.
Yeah. I do shows at the City Repertory Theater Company.
Wow.
And I'm doing a one-woman show again in Atlantic Beach at the Atlantic Beach Experimental Theater in July.
wow.
The Year of Magical Thinking again.
Oh, that is such a. To me, it's a spiritual play. Really,
It is. It's very powerful, and
yes.
it has an incredible message that we all need to be reminded of. And that message is that life changes in the instant. We forget that. We think we've got tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. Well, I'm getting to the age where those tomorrows are a lot shorter.
Right.
And but the part I like to bring to this show, the message is, yes, life does change, so don't wait. Do what you want to do now.
Right. My dad used to say this to me all the time. All you need, young man, is one bad day, and your life is different. And I never forgot that,
Oh,
and you see it around. People have a bad day, which they don't. I just had a friend in California, just like that, and it brings you
that you're mortal. You're mortal, and that's very important. And theater is a wonderful way to live many lives.
Oh, and indeed
many
it is.
lives, you know.
Every time I do this play, and I've done it, this will be the 7th production. Of course, a production, it's just me. But I learned something new from it, but it changed my life, the way I look at life and the way I behave in my life. I don't wait.
Right.
I do it now.
Yes. Well, I want to thank you. We've run out of time.
Oh.
And I need to have you here again, definitely. And it was a pleasure.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed it. Thank you. Thank you all.
Anne Kraft.
So there you saw it. She's an incredible mom, great grandma. She loved life. She loved creating. And that was constant. You could get lost in her eyes. I loved talking with her. Whenever we met, we'd talk and talk and talk. Just there weren't enough hours for a conversation. I'm gonna miss her. I know a lot of you out there are still kind of mourning her, but I wanted to share this this little dance, the dance she did, just a minute or so that you could see her emotion, the grace of it all.
The grand prize winner goes to Anne Kraft. Congratulations, Anne Kraft.
Yeah, she won that, like she won a lot of other awards in her life. She won the respect and the love of her friends. She was a winner. She went out a winner. They say you meet again. So I guess until I meet her again. Ciao, Bella. You'll be missed.